Currently, there are many issues facing Mexico, including the supply of water to growing populations of urban residents, as well as a lack of water in rural communities. Many civilians do not have regular access to appropriate amounts of water. Mexico has made some adjustments in order to help eliminate this problem, such as water reuse plants and collection of rainwater. Unfortunately, many areas of Mexico have issues greater than the simple supply of water. Mexico City, for example, was built on a lake bed, and the growing population is causing the city to slowly sink. At the same time, getting water for such an enormous population is next to impossible, as well as pumping sewage out of the city limits. Some potential solutions for managing water issues include increased water reuse and recycling to gain access to unusable water currently in the system. It is also important to manage the locations that water is coming from. Peri-urban areas can have significant impacts if they were managed properly. Collection of rainwater may also be a useful source if it can come from an industry that aids the population. The education of rural inhabitants is necessary to provide proper management. To aid urban areas, rural areas must be regulated. These suggestions can be implemented in order to gain water supply and eliminate Mexico's water problems.
Transportation infrastructure in Mexico City is an integral part of our plan to reduce the growing gap between the upper and lower classes. People migrate to cities for the economic opportunity and jobs, but are usually left with the only option of living in the outskirts slum areas surrounding the city. This is due to high cost of living and zoning policies. The picture to the right shows the main metropolitan area in black and then the gray peripheral areas where lower income people live. The problem of living on the outskirts of the city is that it takes a lot of time and money to get to jobs in the downtown area. Commuters don't have feasible access to public transport and end up using inefficient cars and microbuses that pollute the air. With the expansion of public transit systems like Mexico City's Bus Rapid Transport or the Metro Bus, a lot of problems will be solved. It will decrease road congestion, improve air quality, and give more low-income people the chance to achieve prosperity with the opportunities for better-paying city jobs. The green graph shows the need for a more extensive public transit system in relation to road congestion and greenhouse gas emissions. The amount of cars being bought from 1999 to 2007 is not proportional to the amount of roads built. The orange graph shows the Metro Bus of Mexico City and its effectiveness for the middle class, but not for the lower class. Expansion into surrounding areas will increase the amount of people that are reached and assisted by public transit systems.
Contract farming is one of the main strategies for the industrialization and restructuring of agriculture. Growers benefit from the firm's technical assistance, greater experience in administrative matters, and better knowledge of the markets. Mexico's economy has bottlenecks that impede economic growth, with public and private monopolies that limit economic competition. Researchers are reporting rising incomes in farmers that utilize contract farming. Farmers need more government support in order to make sure that farmers and firms are at an equal relationship. Contract farming helps farmers get financing, technical assistance, and access to markets. If more investments were made in contract farming, the poverty rate and the unemployment rate would drop, as it has a multiplier effect on employment, infrastructure, and the development of local markets in Latin America.
Mexico is still suffering from the global economic recession of 2009. Over the course from 1980, GDP fell nearly 0.5% annually. Mexico's GDP shrank 6.5% in 2009. It was worse than the recession of 1995. Second quarter 2009, the nation's GDP plunged the strongest in 7 decades. Along with the GDP, the lack of education deeply influenced the nation's economy as well. Decrease of education leads to an increase in unemployment rates in the labor force. Without proper education, there will be a lack of startups for entrepreneurs, which would then increase the poverty rates. Poverty rates would decrease in investments in entrepreneurships. Society is more corrupt without the proper implementations of businesses. Some proposed economic solutions would be mainly focused on fundings for education and entrepreneurships. By funding for both education and entrepreneurships, it will give individuals an incentive for higher education. Individuals will then have a greater opportunity to build up businesses and, in the end, increase the employment rates.
Maquiladora is an operation in a free trade zone where factories import materials and equipment on a duty-free and tariff-free basis. 300 exporting firms and around 3,500 maquiladoras have generated more than 95% of total exports during 1993 to 1999. 3.1 million other firms' exports accounted for less than 5%. Main exporting firms in maquiladoras employed around 5% of the EAP and were not able to generate employment at the required levels. Micro, small, and medium firms have lost significantly, and their share over total employment has dropped. The maquiladoras must be reformed, and Mexico must defend its 3.1 million smaller firms. By raising pay rates to workers in maquiladoras, a price increase will occur for products and could make other businesses more appealing. Currently, these workers make 1/6 of the wages of American manufacturing jobs. Finally, phase out the maquiladoras by leveling the playing field and give smaller firms the chance to employ much more of the labor force.